And
it's time to start digging!
Dan Mosier here, and I am standing in front of amazingness. I have myself donuts. Who doesn't love donuts? And the best kind of M&Ms in the world, peanut M&Ms. I have fried chicken, the ever wonderful French fries, which by the way are good for you because they're a vegetable and you're supposed to eat vegetables. I got my precious Little Debbie snack cakes and potato chips infused with dip. Yes, this has sour cream and onion, haluva good dip for your enjoyment. I love food, but most people love food. We just all like different types of food. But we use love for a lot of things. Do we actually love food? Now, there's nothing wrong with liking food and enjoying, which I will, food. But what about love? The Bible actually says we're only to love two things. First of all, we are to love God and His Word, and then we are to love others. And I have a story about that. You see, there was an older man that had some health issues. And because of that, he had to quit doing the job he was doing, and he had to leave to go to work for a small business that was operated by a Christian family. Now, this older man, he really enjoyed children. Children from little all the way up to young people in their teenage years. And those people really enjoyed him and his attention. Well, it just so happened that this Christian family had a teenage boy who really enjoyed spending time with the older man. And one day, the teenage boy asked the older man if he would join their family for a church service. Well, the older man politely declined. And this happened a few times where the teenage boy would randomly invite the older man for church, and the older man would always politely decline. Well, over time, this teenage boy started to grow his hair out pretty long, and he looked pretty scraggly. Now, this did not bother the older man that much, but he preferred young men to look like, well, young men. And so it happened one day where the teenage boy once again said, "Hey, why don't you come to church with us this Sunday?" The older man looked at him and said, "I tell you what, you get that haircut and I'll come to church with you." The next morning, the older man gets to work, and soon in popping through the door is a teenage boy with a big smile on his face and a fresh haircut. You see, that very night, he went home and had his mom cut his hair. Well, the older man kept his end of the bargain and went to church. And he came to church again. And soon after that, he gave his life to Jesus. And now him and his wife are very active members of that church. Now, in my opinion, that's love. It's actually described here in Matthew chapter 22, starting at verse 35 all the way through 40. And one of them, an expert in the law, asked a question to test him. "Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest?" He said to him, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and most important commandment. The second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets depend on these two commandments." Now you might think, what's the big deal about getting a haircut? That young boy showed God's love to the older man in the best way he knew how. He showed his love to his neighbor. Who's your neighbor? Well, it's simple. Showing love to the people you come in contact with every day. So until next time,